G'day. Today we talk to a digital nomad who's been living in his high roof Mercedes Sprinter for more than 12 months. So let's go see how he does it. G'day.
Hello.
How are you, mate?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, great. What are you up to?
Just in a beautiful part of the world on a beautiful day.
Thanks for having us, mate. It's awesome to be able to take a look at your van, your setup, and have a chat. So originally from Sydney?
I grew up in Newcastle, but yeah, last year I was in Sydney, working for a company in the city and running a business on the side as well. So I was quite busy back then, and van life was like my escape to get out into the world, and I haven't looked back since, and I don't think I will.
Did you deck it out yourself?
No, I actually bought it all done, completed. I would have liked to have done it myself. However, like at the time I was working, between my business and a full-time job, I was working like 70 hours a week.
Yeah.
So it just made more sense for me to pay a little bit more up front rather than spending, a few months trying to deck it out. It probably would have taken me 6 months at that rate. So far, so good. There's just probably been a few, minor van builder mistakes that they probably could have done a little bit better that I've had to fix up. But other than that, it's in terms of mechanically, it's going really well. Yeah,
great. Well, I don't think you'll ever get away from having things to fix up on your van.
I'm starting to realise that.
What's its name?
I don't have a name yet.
So does that mean boy or girl?
It's definitely a boy.
It's a boy.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a boy's name.
Yeah.
Anyone out there who's got an idea for a boy's name? So 12 months on the road, loving it?
Absolutely. Best lifestyle. Yeah.
And have you just been hanging around this area, or you've travelled a bit?
So I spent 6 months in Sydney. I was actually living like right in the CBD, or just on the outskirts of the CBD. So that was quite a strange dynamic where you sort of like living in the van, which is supposedly like more of a laid-back lifestyle, but I was in one of the craziest cities in the world.
I assume you were working in an office job, coming to your van at night?
Yeah.
That was parked on the street somewhere?
Yeah. So there's some really good parking space around Centennial Park in the middle for free during the day. So I'd park there, get the bus in, get the bus back, and then try and find, I had a few different spots that I'd find around, and park there overnight, and I never had an issue. It was all good. So yeah.
On your parking spots, any tips for somebody that's got a similar idea?
Yeah, I think the first thing is like, what does your van look like? Like I see a lot of vans that are either bright colours or they've got colourful blind or like curtains inside and you can see through. They're probably going to stand out quite a lot. Whereas if you make it, pretty discreet and get away, you can probably get away with it. Like mine just looks like a delivery van. You can sort of tell it's a camper if you're really looking at it. But yeah, as long as you're, being quiet, not opening up the doors and so people can see inside, and just parking in places that, it's different where you park. In Sydney, you could park out the front of people's houses because everyone parks on the street there.
Yep.
However, like if it's more like the Gold Coast, if you park out the front of someone's house, then they sort of look out there as like, who's parking out there and why? So when I'm around here, I tend to go for places that are more like sporting ground car parks or those types of things. And I guess the biggest tip is just stay away from the beach. That's where everyone wants to park, but it's also where you get in trouble. So yeah, just stay away from there. All right, well,
let's have a look.
Let's go.
Yeah. Wow, plenty of room.
Yeah, it was really important that I could stand up and not have to be like hunched over all the time. Starting at the front, the door, this is actually really good for a few reasons. So firstly, when it's closed like that at night, it's going to block out all of the light. Secondly, it's a good way to keep the rest of the van insulated as well.
And the lock that you've got there, is that enough to, when you're driving, does the door stay in place?
No.
Right.
It did in the beginning, but what I noticed is when it's in a colder climate, the size of the wood will change a little bit, just enough to so that it's not a really good hard clip anymore. So yeah, I just had to add that in, and it was an easy fix for a couple of dollars.
Yeah, well, it's a really good idea having access to the front.
Nothing's probably ever going to happen, but like, what if you're in a dangerous place and there's someone outside, or you need to get out of somewhere quickly, then I just wanted to make sure there was that gap there, and so far it works pretty good. I've got a 1000 watt inverter in behind the seat there, and then the batteries are in the front. So we've got two 105 amp batteries and deep cycle batteries in the front here.
Yeah, very nice.
So I guess probably the biggest thing that I struggled to get my head around before I got in the van was how much power I'd needed. And no matter how much research I did beforehand, I couldn't get my head around it. But now that I'm in here, I understand it a whole lot more.
Yep.
And I think like having two 105 amp hour batteries for most people is probably going to be enough. I mean, like it powers the fridge, it powers the lights, it powers the pump for the water and all that type of stuff.
Yep. So how much solar are you running?
There's two 250 watt panels on the roof. I've got a couple of battery banks. So one lives in under here.
Okay.
So it's a Goal Zero Yeti 400. It's 400 watt hours, but it roughly works out to be about 40 amp hours. And also because it's a lithium battery, then you can basically use it until the charge is gone. Whereas with Deep Cycle, they recommend not going down to any less than 50%.
Yeah.
So you sort of, even though that's 40 amps, it's almost probably the size of one of those batteries that are in the front there. The other thing that I'm doing a little bit more now as well is just going into a caravan park for a night or two, and I can charge those with 240 volt as well.
If you're willing to do it, why not?
Yeah.
Go to the caravan park and have a good shower.
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
good. For the entire first 10 months, I didn't pay for a single night. Like I was set on like stealth camping and being out there on the street.
So how many nights a week or a month would you spend in a caravan park?
I'm probably spending on average maybe 2 nights in a row every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Something like that. Unless I have a lot of work on, then I'll just go there for a week and settle in, and if there's good surf out the front, then I'm happy.
Yeah, nice, nice. And what's this, a shower?
Yeah, oh well, sort of. So usually it's more of a wet room for me. The wet room is basically used for the surfboard mostly. So I've got a composting toilet in there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's quite good. It splits solids and liquids.
Yep.
I rarely use it. It's more of a backup for me rather than something that I rely on daily.
Yep.
Especially like around this area, there's so many places you can go, especially if you're hanging near the beach, there's public toilets everywhere and showers. And then yeah, I've got a shower in there as well. Up until recently, I never really used it that much. You know, if I use it a lot, I'm gonna have to find water everywhere. And the other reason is because there's so many showers readily available around here.
Well, even with the shower there, it's still really spacious inside. It's surprising.
A lot of people say you don't need it, but I love this type of area, and I'd have it for at least for a wet room, so you might as well put a shower and stuff in there.
Let's have a look through your kitchen.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the kitchen space. It's probably way bigger than what I need. Plenty of bench space to prepare your food. So I also use this as like a stand-up desk area. So I've got a little I guess stand that will bring my laptop up to about here, and then I've got a wireless keyboard that I can pop down here, wireless mouse, and just helps break up the day instead of sitting down all day. Yeah, I've got a nice big deep sink. I've got an 80 litre freshwater tank in the back underneath the bed. Yep. So the pump will pump it through to the water here. And then I've got a 40 litre grey water tank that it drains into as well.
So how long would 80 litres last you?
I mean, I'm typically only washing up with it, so it would probably last like 3 or 4 weeks, maybe longer. You know, I don't really drink from that water. I try and get some better quality water to drink from. Yeah, and then we've got the double burner here. So it runs off gas, and I'm actually surprised at how much or how little gas that it actually uses. I think I've filled it up once in the last, or like exchanged the bottles once in the last 12 months. I'm probably cooking, you know, maybe 3 nights a week, 2 or 3 nights a week. Yep. But I'll heat up like a tea every single morning and from there as well. So yeah, I think it does pretty well.
So where's the fridge?
It sits in under here. So it's a 40 litre Waco. Yep. Lifts from the top, can be used as a fridge or freezer, runs off 12 volts. It's pretty good. Nice, yeah.
Nice. Any fans or anything like that happening?
I do have a couple of fans. So I've got one under here. So I've got a USB fan. I also just bought a brand new, like one that runs on a 12 volt socket, which will actually clamp on up here, so I can have that running throughout the night. I do have the one max air fan up here, which it definitely lets some air in, but there's still not enough to create a draft. So I've got a table under here.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, that just comes out like that.
Yeah, nice.
You can use it as a desk to sit at for work, or you can eat there if you want. All right,
and then your clothes, I guess, are kept under the bed. Is that
yeah.
And then your bed up there, sort of over the garage.
So for the first 10 months, that's how I slept, crossways.
Okay.
I'm about 6 foot tall. I had to sleep diagonally basically, but I eventually got sick of sleeping diagonally, and yeah, I ended up building an extra piece that comes out and use this ledge here, put a little bit of Velcro on there, and then I've got the board underneath here, comes out to about here and makes it almost the size of like I guess like a king single. I sleep so much better. The only challenge is I have to set it up every single night and take it down every single morning, but it only takes probably 90 seconds to do that, so yeah, it's not a huge deal.
Do you ever get tired of living on the road?
I don't get tired of it, no, but I definitely do find that I need to have some sort of grounding here and there. Yeah, just being grounded, like, and having some certainty in your life is pretty important, I find. And I've seen that pop up a lot for a few people who've been living on the road for like 12 months or more, where they have the same sort of realization. So yeah, I think like that's probably one of the things that I try and share, is that as van lifers, we just want to get out there and be on the road all the time because that's like what we do, right? But it's also important to look after your mental health as well. And if that means, you know, spending a few nights in a caravan park, then definitely go do that. There's nothing wrong with that.
So what would you say is the biggest challenge of living in a van?
I mean, there's a few big challenges, which sort of like the main ones, which is enough water, getting like water every few days, and having enough power. Other than that though, like everything else is pretty adaptable. Like, you know, you've just got to think about how you used to do things. So like if you're brushing your teeth, you might want to do that before you go park somewhere at night, or having a shower. Instead, if you've got a shower outside, you might have to wear some swimmers underneath.
Do you think anyone can live in a van?
I think everyone should at least give it a go. I mean, if you like your creature comforts, then sure, like it's probably going to be a bit of a challenge, but I would challenge people to try and break the norm. You know, like, how do you know if you can live in a van or not until you've tried it? And that's sort of been my philosophy on life, is like, how do I know if I like something or not unless I go and try it first? Because you could, and that comes down to everything. Everyone's got an opinion about something, but you know, you need to form your own opinion before you actually make a decision. So yeah, I mean, if people have any sort of desire, like if you're watching this right now, then you absolutely need to go live in a van.
I guess that's your black water tank.
Yeah, so that's the freshwater tank.
Yep.
So yeah, 80 litres. Fill it in up here.
Okay.
Also got an overflow pipe here, so you know sort of when it's going to be full, and turn the tap off, so that'll flow straight out underneath. And then just underneath there is the hot water system. What's
the coolest thing you've got on the bus?
The coolest thing is a little painting that I've got inside that a really good friend did for me for my 30th. So it's a painting of me in the van, or sitting at the van. It's got a few of my favorite music artists on there. It's like street signs, so that's the thing that I love the most about it.
One of the biggest challenges that people have with, you know, this whole lifestyle of van life and whatnot is, how do you make money? So how do you make money?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to be building digital businesses for the last 4 years now. So I sold the first business last year in June, and then started building a marketing agency. So I've got clients, you know, from all parts of the world, from the US to the UK to Dubai. So I'm doing that from in the van, working on my laptop. And
what do you have, like a dongle or something to get internet access, or?
So I'll hotspot my phone quite a lot. So I've got quite a large data plan with Telstra. I mean, Telstra are the best in Australia, so I had to go with them.
Yep.
And I've also got a 4G modem as well, helping people to become digital nomads, whether it's through building a digital business or even like becoming like a freelancer and providing their services. And the best thing is, like, it's so much more accessible now than ever before, and so much easier now to make money through non-traditional routes than ever before, because the internet, you can go directly from you as the person creating something to the consumer. There's no middleman anymore. So yeah, it's super powerful.
So what, how do you, like, have you got a website or YouTube, or where?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a YouTube channel, so posting twice a week on there now. So just search my name, Mitch Asser, or mitchasser.com, and yeah, there'll be tons of resources and links and stuff on there, or Instagram, wherever.
You work a lot,
yeah,
starting up businesses, do a bit of surfing. Do you have any other hobbies?
Not really. My creative outlet is my business, right? And I think a lot of people try to, it's hard for people to understand that if you're working in a job that you don't really like, but I love what I do. So I'm always either connecting with people and talking to them about business or catching up with them, or thinking about things that I can create. Like, that's my creative outlet. So when I'm not doing business, then I try and do very little, which is either meditating or surfing, or just, lying on the beach or hanging out with some friends and things like that.
So what would be the number one tip for a van lifer or person thinking about becoming a van lifer?
Yeah, okay. I guess the number one tip would be to just dive in the deep end. I know for me, I watched videos, endless amounts of videos for about 3 months, and I had so many questions of what do I need? How much power do I need? All of those types of things. But it wasn't until I actually took the leap and got in a van that I started to figure out what I actually wanted. And I guess the biggest thing I realized is that if I didn't like this van, I could always sell it and get another one. So you've just got to take the leap. You'll figure it out as you go, and it's not until you put that first foot out there that sort of the rest of it starts to open up. So yeah, great tip. Just get out there and do it. Yeah.
All right, well, thanks again for hosting us and introducing us to your life and your lifestyle.
No, my pleasure. It's been fun.
Yeah. And I guess one more question: would you ever ditch van life and move back into a house?
Not in the immediate future, no. Maybe one day, but not right now. That's way too good of a lifestyle.
Awesome, mate. Well, thanks again. We'll I'm sure we'll cross paths again very soon.
Yep.
And the best of luck with all your businesses, and we'll let you get out there and enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Awesome. See you, Mitch.